How to Buy a House Part 8. How do we find your home? Where are we going to find it? Where do we look? Okay, this is probably the most fun part of the entire process, right? It's not figuring out the down payment or what your payments are or getting your credit fixed. None of that's very fun. This is the fun part, figuring out what you want to go look at. And now we get to go look at it. All this other stuff, we're at Part 8. Now we're looking at properties. Yay. And this is the part that people feel like this is all the buyer's agent does a lot of times. It's just go show property. Let's get in the car and let's HGTV our way over there. I'm gonna show you 3 properties and you pick one and all that horse crap, okay? So this again is the fun part for most normal, sane individuals like you, like me. So how are we gonna search? So if you're my client, I'm going to register you with my website, which shameless plug is the JamesonDurhamGroup.com. Jameson with an I, but you know that already. So on my website, anytime that you look at a property, it will show me that Suzanne looked at a property. This is the address. Anytime that you like a property, you put a heart by it, it will show me that you liked the property. So I'm seeing the stuff that you're seeing. I don't have to send you something you already looked at. So if I'm sending you something, it's something you've not looked at, haven't seen, it's off market, whatever. I love it since we started doing this. I think it is great. I've only had one person that apparently couldn't figure it out. Everybody else has really liked it, so that's why I pay stupid money for this thing every month. For you guys, not me, okay? So how are we gonna find it? How do they get on my website? Well, the first thing is what's called the MLS, right? You've heard of that? The MLS, which is Major League Soccer, right? It's the multiple listing service. So the MLS is a thing that somebody created at some point in the past where agents with properties could list them on this service where all the other agents could see the properties. In the old days, apparently it was a big book that you got every Tuesday and you would flip through the book with your clients and look at that, which my God, that sounds horrible. I'm glad I was not in real estate before the internet, but somehow it worked. So the MLS, which is RealTracs in our area, that feeds all the other websites. So if you're looking at Zillow, you're looking at Realtor.com, Homes.com, which, well, they're advertising a lot lately, Redfin, whatever website you're looking at, if you're looking at the Keller Williams website, the Blackwell Realty and Auction website, AG & Johnson, any other real estate company out here, Remax, all of those websites, my website, are all fed off the IDX, which is, you know, the partnership with MLS there. So that's when people say, well, I'm gonna list with so-and-so because they have a global market. Well, the internet's pretty global. If you get it on the MLS, then it is going to be globally circulated, okay? So that's one disadvantage for sale by owners have, is they don't have access to the MLS. To put a property on that, you have to be a real estate agent, which is good because there's some accountability there and people can't just willy-nilly throw up spam or scams or, you know, junk with no consequences. We're beholden to what we put on there and the accuracy of it. So the MLS protects buyers and sellers, and it's a cool thing that agents have that for sale by owners don't have. So if you want to get your property in front of a few thousand people instead of 100, good way to start is getting it on MLS, okay? That's where most buyers are looking. Now, obviously there's other websites. We talked about Zillow, we talked about Realtor. Those aren't always accurate for whatever reason. Some things seem to get lost in the translation here and there. Me personally, I prefer my clients use my website because I know what that looks like and I know if it's under contract, it will be very clearly stated that it is under contract or pending, okay, things like that. A lot of times people will send me properties on Zillow and they say, why are we not looking at this? Well, because it's under contract, not showing. If we look on the MLS, we can see that. We cannot see it on this website. So I'm not trying to keep that property away from you, Suzanne. Today, that's the name of the day. It's just under contract, not showing. Now I can still call and see if there's a way around that. But anywho, so the MLS is where most people probably find their property and agent schedule the showing. We go look at it. Other ways that we can find properties, right? Yard signs. When you guys are out driving around, you see a sign in the yard. I don't want you to call the agent because you have one, right? We did a buyer's consult. You have a buyer's agency agreement with me. You're going to call your real estate agent so they can call that agent and get the scoop on it. And they're also going to look at the private remarks that are on the MLS that are only for agents to tell other agents, like, hey, this house, do not go in it, it's not safe, or this house will not go FHA. Anything that they don't necessarily want to publicly advertise, but they feel like somebody needs to know, private remarks. So you see a sign in the yard, I want you to call me so I can look it up and get familiar with it, and then I'll call it agent. But if you're in one of my areas that I work a lot, before you even tell me you saw the sign, there's a good chance I probably have already sent it to you, and I've already at least done the research on it, know something about it. So somebody sent me one yesterday where they drove by side in the yard. It's like, boy, let me tell you a lot about that house that's not on the MLS. Okay, so other ways that you might find property: open houses. Buyers love to go to open houses and not bring their agents. I tell my buyers, if you want to go to an open house, that's cool. I want to go with you. Okay, why? Yes, there again. Why do agents host open houses? We got a little bit of hiccups here, but why do agents host open houses? Is it to sell the house? No. Any agent that's hosting an open house, unless they're the listing agent, they are there to pick up buyers, okay? The whole thing is to meet buyers and sell your services to them in that short time frame that they're in the open house with you, for them to use you as a buyer's agent. So did you know that? I feel like a lot of you knew that. But open houses. So when you're my client, you go to open house, let me go with you, okay? Because here's the thing, I'm gonna go, if you like the house and you wanna write an offer, I wanna go back and look at it with you. I don't wanna write an offer on something I haven't been through, where maybe my set of eyes find something that I think, oh, here's something we can negotiate on, or here's something that will help us get this house on better terms or at a better price. Take your agent with you, let them go through the house with you. So I tell my buyers, let's just not go to open houses. If you really want to see it, let's do the private showing. I'll meet you over there at a time when the other 20 people aren't there or whatever, okay? But it's a way to look for properties. Now, all those open houses, they're on MLS, right? For sale by owners. For sale by owners are not going to be on the MLS. Now, you can list with an agent for a flat fee. Some of these companies do that, where they throw you on the MLS and treat you like a for sale by owner, where you do all the work, but they key it in the system for you. Those you may not find on MLS, and if we have to look for those, you know, typically as your agent, we look at Zillow every day. We look at some of these other websites. Sometimes we just put in for sale by owner, Lebanon, Tennessee, to see what's out there. So we're familiar with that market too. So before you call a for sale by owner, again, if you have an agent, work through your agent, okay? I've got a great story about a for sale, well, it wasn't really a for sale by owner, might as well be. I've got a great story about buyers calling the sign and it not being good. Word of mouth. Well, before we go on that, what else about the for sale by owner? Also, remember with for sale by owner, if you've signed a buyer's agency agreement, then you've agreed to pay that buyer's agent a commission. And if it doesn't specifically exclude for sale by owner, and that owner is not paying a buyer's commission, you may be liable to pay your agent a commission if you buy that house, with or whether or not you use them. So keep that in mind, okay? That could be important. Now, word of mouth. What is word of mouth? Your cousin agents, your cousin, sisters, brothers thinking about selling their house. This is another thing where buyer's agents lose clients because they sit down with the agent, they kind of get a game plan, they know what they're gonna do, and then somebody at work says, oh, my buddy's selling his house, you should buy that. And sometimes they might actually go buy that and not tell their agent. It's dicey. Again, you may owe a commission on that. And it's dicey because if you don't have an agent who's really looking at things that need to be looked at before you buy it, there's a lot of things from the tax record, flood maps, previous listings. There's a lot of stuff we should look at before we offer on a house. And one of the reasons that you're paying an agent is to have them do that research, and you're not just taking their word for it that, oh yeah, this is a great house, Kevin's mom told me. If you're gonna hire an agent, use the agent, let them look up that property, let them do the due diligence, let them reach out and make that phone call, let them do the work on it, okay? You're paying them to do the work. So typically that doesn't work out either. I don't get too upset when people start talking about houses like that because one, the house is always hot garbage. If the house was any good, most of the time they're gonna list that on the MLS to get the best price for it. So in my opinion, a lot of this off-market word of mouth stuff is stuff where people are trying to get too good of a price and they know if they go public with it, nobody's gonna pay that. So something to think about there. My agent network, there's another way that I'm gonna search for properties for you, is my connections with other agents at my company and the other companies around here who's got pocket listings, which there's a whole thing around that, we're not gonna get into it, but who's got those coming soons, and just sharing my buyers' needs with other agents that we talk to weekly, daily, whatever, that hey, if you happen to find a double wide on 5 acres out in Las Casas, I got buyers looking. Maybe bring it to us before you take it to the market. I have one of those, by the way. So I think it's important that you pick an agent that does have a pretty decent rapport with some other agents and other companies and with inside their own company where they can hear about those things before they go live. Any good agent I can think of probably 15 properties off the top of my head that are not ready for market, but they're gonna be sold. And if I know about them, guess who I'm calling? The people I have buyer agreements with. I'll get first crack at that stuff. So other off-market strategies, let's say we can't find your house on the MLS. You're looking for something very specific in a very particular location. There's no for sale by owners. It's not on the internet. What are we gonna do? That's where your agent's gotta get creative and do some off-market prospecting. Things like circle dialing, things like letters and brochures, campaigns like that we mail to specific areas, we call specific neighborhoods, try not to violate the do not call list, do not violate the do not call list, and say, hey, I've got buyers that wanna be over here on this cul-de-sac. Are you thinking about selling your house anytime soon? Door knocking, that's another one. I've door knocked for clients. I don't like it, but if that's what I gotta do to find you the house, I'll do it. Don't like it. I don't think any of us do. Some of these weird, really extroverted agents probably like that. I don't. Remember, introvert, okay? So those off-market strategies, if we need to resort to that, then by golly, we resort to that. But house hunting is fun. I love to do it. I love to take people out and look at houses. Looking at houses in person is the best way to find a house that you want to buy. If you're out of state, we can do it electronically. That does work. I love it when we go look at the houses. It's fun. It's great.